Hello friends, welcome to the online tutorial for 12th Computer Science 083 for CBSE board. I have come up with a video series that will help all the students belonging to the subject Computer Science based on computer language C++. Okay. In this video series, I will be discussing some of the major topics of this subject. Those are object-oriented programming language, data file handling, pointers, arrays and linked list under data structures, SQL, Boolean algebra and computer networking. Okay, I will be discussing all these major topics but through the questions that comes under the computer science question paper. Question wise. Okay, in this video I have come up with first question, that is from section A, question number 1 and part A. Find the correct identifiers out of the following which can be used for naming variables, constants or functions in a C++ program. Here some identifiers are given in the question paper: while, for, float, new, second name, %b, amount, to and underscore counter. We are to pick which of the following are correct. Okay. Before moving further, I just want to tell you all what is the term identifier. Basically means identifier is used to identify the building blocks of the program, whether it is a variable declaration, whether it is a constant variable, whether it is a function or some other classes or arrays and pointer, whatever it is. Okay, and you also make a note of all these points I am just stating over here. First is names given to the function. Any name that is given to a user defined function is termed as an identifier, like void calculate. Calculate is an identifier. Int factorial, factorial is an identifier. Calculate function will calculate the value of these two integers and factorial will calculate the factorial of this one integer. And any name given to the variable or constant means whether we declare some variables, that names which are given to those variables are also called identifiers. And whether I declare some constant variables, that the name which I give to the constant variable is also treated as an identifier. Next, names given to the arrays, pointers, references or classes. Means I have given you 3 points: any name given to the functions, any name given to the variables or constants, any name given to the arrays, pointers, references or classes. You all just make some notes from these points. Means whatever the name is: calculate, factorial, salary, marks, max. Float marks, again I have given an example that float marks is an array. Means array is a combination of contiguous memory locations but of same data type. Float is the data type and marks is the array containing 10 memory locations. Here the marks is the identifier. Float, ptr is a pointer that will hold the memory address of a floating variable. Ptr is an identifier. Float reference is a reference variable that will take the reference of some other variable. It is also an identifier. Next, class student. Class is the keyword that is used to declare a class. Here the student is the name that is given to the class. This is also an identifier. Okay, now let's move to the rules that we should follow to naming the variables, or we can say identifiers, in a C++ program. And these are: first, C++ is a case sensitive language, so that uppercase letters and lowercase letters are treated differently. Means if I declare a variable with a single letter, that is A, if I declare with small a, or another variable I declare with the capital A, both will be treated differently. Both are different variables. Take an example: int roll number and roll number. I have declared 4 variables but with the same name, and all these 4 variables are treated differently means I have 4 variables, not a single variable, because the case of all 4 of these are different. In first we have all small, in second we have r and n being capital, in third we have only r being capital, and in fourth one I have all being capital. So all 4 of these variables are treated differently. Make a note of all these rules. Second, we have the name of the identifier can not begin with a digit. Example, int 1 abc. Here I have declared a variable, but the name of the variable is starting with the numeric value. That is not valid in a C++ compiler. So we can rewrite it like this: abc1. It is valid because it is starting with a letter. A1BC, it is also starting with the letter. Third, we have underscore 1 ABC, it is starting with the underscore. Means whenever we declare an identifier, it must start with the alphabet or an underscore. It can never start with a digit. What is the third rule? Only alphabetic characters, digits and underscores are permitted. But make a note of this: digit can be a member of the variable name, but it cannot start with a digit, as I have stated in second rule. Fourth rule is saying other special characters are not allowed for naming a variable or an identifier. What are special characters? Like exclamation mark, underscore, hash, at the rate, dollar sign, percentile, caret and star, whatever the arithmetic characters are over there, all of these characters are special characters. So these characters can never be used between the name of the variable or between the naming an identifier. By using these special characters, that identifier will be invalid. Last rule is keywords cannot be used as identifier names. What are keywords are the reserved words that are written under the C++ compiler: do, while, for, int, char, main, class, const, etc. Do, for, and while, these are the loops. Int, char, these are the data types. Main is the main function. Class is the keyword that is used to declare or define a class. Const is the keyword that is used to declare a constant variable. So these are the keywords, and total we have 60 keywords that cannot be used to name the identifiers in C++. Please go and check what are these keywords, so it will be helpful for you to point out whether it is a keyword or not in the exam paper. So now see what were the identifiers which are given in the question paper. While, for, float. Start from the first. While is a loop. As I have stated in the fifth rule, while is a loop. But see, in the rule I have written all in small letters, but here it is given in W being capital, so it is valid. As we know, C++ is a case sensitive language. All the keywords should be in small letter, and if we want to declare a variable with the first letter being capital, so we can do it because it is not a keyword, it is valid. For is a keyword because for is the for loop we use in programming. Float is a data type, but see here the F is the capital letter, so it is valid. We can give a name like this. New is a keyword used to dynamically allocating the memory to the variable. All letters are small, so it is really a keyword. It cannot be used while naming an identifier, so it is invalid. Second, starting with a digit. 2 is a digit. We can never start a variable name starting with the digit, so it is invalid. In the next we have a%, b% is a special character, it cannot be used, so it is also invalid. Amount is a variable starting with alphabet, so it is valid. In the last identifier we have underscore is also allowed, being the first letter of the identifier name, so this is also valid. So in the given identifiers, while is valid, for is invalid because it is the loop. Float is also valid. New is the keyword, it is not valid. second name is starting with the digit, it is not valid. A